Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday afternoon, January 11th. It looks like we have an important storm threat for the eastern seaboard in the Sunday-Monday time frame. There's still several days to go, many questions to be answered, but it does look like a significant impact is possible, again, in the Sunday-Monday time frame, all the way from the Carolinas up to the Mid-Atlantic region and the northeastern part of the nation. We'll kind of decipher all the possible outcomes over the next several minutes. Let me first start off by showing the total snowfall map by the 12Z run of the European model. By the time we get to about Tuesday night or so, this will encompass that potential storm threat in the Sunday-Monday time frame. And the significant issue here is that the European model has changed dramatically from its prior run at 0Z last night to this morning's 12Z run. This again is a snowfall total map. Notice all the way up from the southeastern states into the Mid-Atlantic region and into New England, encompassing whatever falls on Sunday and Monday. Again, this is a total by Tuesday midday or so. And notice right along the I-95 corridor region, it ramps up a lot as you go to the north and west. It's one of the things we'll talk about over the next few minutes. There are some indication that the surface low pressure area could take a little bit of an inland track. That raises the possibility of a mixed bag of precipitation in places like DC, Philadelphia, New York City, but way too early to get that specific. The bottom line here is there is a significant threat for the Sunday-Monday time frame. Let's now walk through the 12Z run of the GFS model. We're first looking at the operational forecast maps here. Eventually we'll take a look at an ensemble forecast map as well. Now, first thing I want to say right up front is the GFS model run from 0Z last night did in fact have a potential big threat in the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S. come Sunday, Monday. European model did not last night, but this morning its 12Z run has kind of caved into the GFS and is coming along for the ride now. Now we have to iron out the details over the next few days. Let's first start off by looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly maps. And we talked yesterday about an increasingly stormy weather pattern for the eastern U.S. beginning this weekend. And really there's an initial threat that comes in the Thursday, Friday time frame that looks like for the most part it'll stay far enough off the East Coast to have a little impact, if any, in the Mid-Atlantic region. It certainly could skirt the eastern part of New England, but let's talk about that. And then a follow-up threat for the Sunday-Monday time frame. Arctic air continues to have a grip right now on the Mid-Atlantic region, New England, Great Lakes area. It'll ease away by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon. There'll be another cold night tonight, but then modification in temperatures on Wednesday and again on Thursday. Well, here we are starting off Tuesday afternoon. Let's move forward here. We'll first talk about a wave of low pressure that'll form right here in the southeastern part of the nation on Thursday afternoon. This will spawn a storm system way down in the southeastern states, and it will in fact intensify, but it looks like it'll stay too far to the south and east to have an impact on the Mid-Atlantic region as it intensifies over the western Atlantic Ocean. We're now in the Friday night, Saturday time frame. It could have an impact eastern New England, maybe Nova Scotia, but again, for the most part, this initial storm, Thursday, Friday time frame, stays far enough off the East Coast to avoid much, if any, impact in the Mid-Atlantic region and for much of the northeastern states. Again, eastern Maine could be skirted by this initial storm, and then we'll look right on its heels. There'll be another impressive wave of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere dropping into the central plains by the time we get to the early part of the weekend, and it dives to the south and east by the time we get to Sunday morning. At this point in time, could be a pretty strong low pressure area in the southeastern states, and then it starts to make a turn to the north and east. Exactly how far up along the eastern seaboard it comes, of course, will have a big play in how much snowfall, for example, can fall in the Mid-Atlantic region. If it takes an inland track, that raises the possibility of warmer conditions, especially along coastal sections and maybe even into the I-95 corridor region, which would result in a mixed bag of precipitation for places like D.C. and perhaps Philadelphia and New York City. But here we go. As we move through the day, could actually have a significant snow event for the inland, higher elevation locations of the Carolinas, maybe even to the Virginias. Here we are by Sunday night into Monday, and this is the system to watch. Now notice there's also a second disturbance, a second feature headed into the eastern states, and we'll have to watch the interaction of these two systems. This is the main player here, but there is a secondary disturbance in the upper part of the atmosphere that could have an interaction with this main player, and that too can have an impact on the ultimate storm track, the ultimate intensification of this system. Well, let's now take a look at the 12Z model run, the operational version of the GFS in terms of the 500 millibar vorticity fields. Let's move forward from Tuesday afternoon into the day on Wednesday, and again, modification in temperatures for the Mid-Atlantic region, for the Northeast U.S. on Wednesday and Thursday. It does, however, start to turn quite a bit colder by the time we get into Friday, and I would say progressively colder, even colder conditions on Saturday. High pressure will build across the southeastern part of Canada. This is the wave associated with that initial storm, the Thursday-Friday storm that stays too far to the south and east to impact the Mid-Atlantic region as it moves out over the western part of the Atlantic Ocean. Here we are by Friday morning. Here's that initial wave. Colder air starts to pour into the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. And here we go. This is the system of interest for the Sunday-Monday time frame threat. The threat in that time frame for the Mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. Here we go by Saturday morning. Very impressive upper level system will be diving to the south and east. It goes all the way into the southeastern states by the time we get to Sunday morning. Again, at this time, the potential exists for low pressure to form in the southeastern states, potentially bringing significant snow, higher elevation locations of the Carolinas and maybe the Virginias after that, as the storm system moves north and east. Now, it could come a little bit farther inland than the coast itself. It could come maybe back into the I-95 corridor region. We'll have to monitor those prospects over the next few days. That, of course, will make a major difference between a mixed bag of precipitation or a very big accumulating snow event for the Mid-Atlantic region. And again, here's that second system. Could have an interaction, some kind of an interaction with that first system that could have a big role in the ultimate storm track and the ultimate intensity level of the storm system. Now let's walk through the surface forecast maps. Again, this is using the operational version of the GFS. Arctic air in control right through tonight. A very cold night tonight, but then notice a little bit of a southwesterly flow here at the surface level by tomorrow morning. Temperatures indeed will modify on Wednesday afternoon, especially on Thursday. May hit 40 to 45 degrees for afternoon highs on Thursday. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And here comes that first system, causing a low pressure area by Thursday night off the southeastern coastline. It stays, it looks like, just far enough to the east, out over the open waters of the western Atlantic to avoid much of an impact, if any, in the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, could skirt Cape Cod, maybe the eastern part of Maine, Thursday, Friday time frame. Same time, importantly, high pressure will be building into southeastern Canada. Colder air will be pouring into the Mid-Atlantic region by the time we get to late in the day on Friday. Even colder by the time we get to Saturday morning. Here we go, the Saturday morning forecast map. You know, one of the ingredients I always look at for potential snowstorms in the Mid-Atlantic region. Strong high to the north, and here we have something very strong high pressure area building into southeastern Canada by the time we get to the early part of the upcoming weekend. Here is the reflection at the surface of all that energy in the upper part of the atmosphere by the time we get to Saturday morning, and it dives to the south and east. Still have some high pressure right here sitting over New England by the time we get to Sunday morning. Again, several days away, but an important threat exists for the Sunday-Monday time frame for much of the eastern seaboard. Here we go. By the time we get to Sunday morning, could have some significant accumulating snow across the higher elevations of inland North Carolina, for example, maybe even into the Virginias after this. And then the system looks like it starts to turn to the north and east by the time we get to Sunday night. Now the question at this point, does it hug the coastline, maybe go a little bit off the coastline, or does it take more of an inland track, let's say over the I-95 corridor region? That could be the difference from a major snow event to a mixed bag of precipitation, something we'll have to iron out over the next few days. Here we go. By the time we get to late Sunday night, early Monday, it does, on this particular model run, take a little bit of an inland track. I don't know if I believe that, though. The European model, operational model, also takes a little bit of an inland track and may be overdone on the intensification, which tends to pull it back inland a little bit. And nonetheless, look at this. By the time we get to Monday morning, could be accumulating snow across much of the Mid-Atlantic region into the northeast U.S. Again, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, still just a little too early to call. A big threat is on the table, however, and then we'll move forward here, and it kind of sits and spins a little bit by the time we get to Monday night, still producing some snowfall up across interior northeast U.S. and New England. Now the last map I want to show here is from the Ensemble Run of the GFS at 12Z. We just saw the operational positioning of the low pressure area somewhere around the I-95 corridor region, a little bit inland by the time we get to Sunday night time frame. This is the Ensemble Run, and just a refresher here. An Ensemble Run has multiple members, and basically each one of these has a little bit different of an initialization. Maybe one a little bit colder, one a little bit warmer, one a little bit drier, one a little bit wetter, and then it goes through the time frame out 2, 3, 4, 5 days out in advance, or all the way out to the end of the model run, and you see what kind of an impact each of those individual ensembles have with slightly differing initial conditions. So it gives the forecaster confidence or lack of confidence in an ultimate operational forecast map, because if these ensemble runs kind of cluster together, that gives higher confidence in the ultimate outcome. And here is the Ensemble Run. Notice all these positions of the surface lows here generally fall to the south and east of the operational run. Again, the operational run had the storm system somewhere in this area by the time we got to Sunday evening. The mean of these ensembles off the coast here, and this is certainly a more favorable position for significant snow in the I-95 corridor region, the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. Indeed, if this forecast map by the Ensemble Run were to verify, could very well be a significant snow event in the I-95 corridor region and points to the north and west. So these are some of the issues we'll be monitoring over the next few days. Again, a pretty decent difference between the positioning of the low by the operational version of the GFS and its Ensemble Run, and that kind of leans me to believe that the inland solution may be a bit overdone, but it's something we'll closely monitor over the next few days. Again, a pretty big threat here for a storm in the Sunday-Monday time frame. We'll closely monitor the situation over the next few days. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.